everybody, Leah Grace here, and today we're going to make some Winter Wonderland soap. So I'm going to combine my lye water with my pre-melted oils. And time to blend this baby up. Alrighty, now that that's all mixed up, it's time to divide it into our two sections for this soap. So in our larger container, I'm adding a mixture of titanium dioxide, super pearly white mica, and snowflake sparkle mica. So it's supposed to hold its color really well and also be a little bit shiny. This is going to be our snow-covered mountainside. Alright, got all of that beauty in there. It's time to add our ultramarine violet oxide pigment. That's a name. It's also got just a little bit of the snowflake sparkle mica in it, and this is going to be the sky for our soap. I've noticed that these micas tend to be a lot more of a clump situation, less of a drizzle whenever you're adding it to your oils. And it's time to go ahead and mix up our two colors. So I blended this white a little bit thicker than I normally would. It's definitely at a medium to thick trace. And that's just because it's going to have to support some embeds that I made, quite a few embeds that I made. And our fragrance today is Sleigh Ride from Brambleberry. This is a really light, delicate, yet very wintry fragrance. It sort of has a pine, mint, fresh type of smell. Ooh, it looks like it turns it green instantly, but it won't stay green. Oh my goodness, so many holiday memories smelling this. Alright, we've got our two colors ready. It's time to bring in the mold. Alright, so we are going to add a small base layer of the white on the very bottom of the mold. Okay, that ought to do. This is a very small amount. It's just to help our embeds have a foundation to lay on. So we'll give this just a moment to set up, maybe a minute or two, and then time to add our embeds. And while we're waiting for that, I thought I would show you the embeds I made. Aren't they so cute? So they may not look like much from the top going down, but you're going to see them in the soap from this angle. Get out of there, you speck of dust. There, much better. Aren't they cute? Little tree line. So we have some mint colored trees, pink trees, and these are both of similar size. They're a bit larger. And then our smaller trees are light purple and dark purple. And then this light purple is going to be very similar to the color we mixed a moment before, the sky color, except this one should be a bit more saturated. So these are the embeds I'm going to be adding into the mold at two different heights. Then I'll shape the white to look like a hillside. Then we'll add our purple snowstorm. Ooh, that's sitting up fast, very nice. It's already not moving when I tip the mold. So I'm adding our two largest sizes of trees first to force perspective. It'll look like the larger trees are closer to you and the smaller trees are farther away. So our pink ones, let's see, I'll start with them towards me, towards the edge. Trying to be fairly precise with this one. Alright, so far so good. And we'll just keep adding them until we have a full line across the mold. This was one of the very first Christmas soap ideas I had. I thought of all the different things I want to make, and believe me, there's quite a few. And I thought it would be fun to do a Christmas soap that wasn't made with traditional Christmas colors. So pastels are what I'm going for this one. And then the fragrance, I ended up getting a few different Christmas fragrances and knew this was the perfect one for this soap as soon as I smelled it. I didn't want it to be super heavy pine scented like traditional Christmas soaps. It needed to have an idea of lightness, you know, almost like the first snow of winter. Beautiful. I'm just going to add a touch more white and focus it on this side so that way the pink and the mint leaves, trees I'm about to add aren't on the exact same plane. That ought to do. It just needs to be slightly different. A mess! Alright, time for mint leaves. Trees. Why do I keep calling them leaves? Maybe I'm excited for the mint julep soap. I made that one a few weeks ago. It's about to be ready by the end of August. So I am excited to use that one myself and to put it up in the Etsy store. Alright, we've got our first 2 layers of trees in. Time to add another layer of white, then we'll add our smaller trees. Now when I pour this one in, I am going to be pretty careful because I don't want it to mess up the alignment of those pretty trees. You know, I might actually spoon it in at first, just so I don't have an accident. I'm also trying to be really precise as I pour this in because I don't want to create air bubbles in between the jagged edges of those trees that I just put in. So I'm trying to be really focused in filling any potential empty areas. The recipe I'm using for this one is a softer recipe. It'll of course cure to be a very hard bar after 4 to 6 weeks. But initially it's going to be on the softer side, and that'll help me if, as I'm cutting these bars, I notice any teeny little imperfections, maybe a little air bubble got trapped. I can usually smooth those out just with my fingertip whenever I use this recipe. Alright, now that I've got the next layer of white in here, I'm going to very gingerly tap it down on the table. Oh, there's a little air bubble that popped up. Thank you, friend. Okay, time to add our tinier trees, these 2 purples. Let's see, where shall I put them? I'm going to start to create a hillside, so I'm gonna put the trees a little bit more centered on the edge that's closest to me, so that this will be lower, gradually getting higher, and then the negative space will be filled with skyline. So let's add this one towards the middle. I'm okay with pushing that down a teensy bit. Having it be smaller than the trees that I previously put in is, I believe, going to help create the idea of distance. So I'm forcing perspective with this one. Want it to look like a lovely mountainside covered in snow and pastels. I probably could have done one more tree. There's like a teeny bit of a gap right here on the edge, but I'm not concerned about that. Okay, let's add in some more white. Just kind of beginning to shape that hillside I have in mind. Just the other day we passed the 150-day mark till Christmas, and I am so excited. This will be my first Christmas as a married lady. It's great so far, I highly recommend. Okay, now that I've got a bit of my hillside shaped, it's time to add our last tree. So this is the light purple. And this one I am okay if it peeks out just a little bit into the skyline. I'll submerge maybe 3/4 of it into white, build up a bit more around it. But it's okay if a bit peeks out the top. I think that'll even help it look more like a hillside. Okay, time to add some more white around it. I'm adding a little bit more white than I expected, but I kind of want to use it as almost like a cement to keep those trees in place, so I'm happy with that. I'm adding a bit of texture to this. As I was doing it, trying to make it really smooth, I realized it could be nice to have some texture, because when it's cut this way and you see it from this direction, it'll kind of look like snowy mounds. Okie dokie, I'll clean up the edges and give this a few minutes to set. I'm just going to scooch it to the side and clean up my mess. And come back to this purple, which I've stirred just recently. It's getting pretty thick. And to add a little bit of magic to this winter wonderland, I have some white soap shreds. They're shredded pretty finely, and I'm going to add this to the purple. That way it'll look like speckled snow falling from the sky. I won't start with all of it. I'll start with a little bit, and we'll see if we like it. They look like little white chocolate curls, don't they? These are unscented. I just freshly grated a white bar that I had made previously. Very nice. Let's go ahead and add the rest of the white. It's a super snowy day. Okay, now that we've got our purple all ready to go, let's check on our mold again. We're looking pretty darn good. I'll spoon in the purple sky, and I'll just have to be extra careful that I'm not going to smoosh this first layer because it is still fairly moldable. And I'm going to try and get every little crevice filled with our purple mixture. It may not look terribly snowy right now, but when it's cut, I'm hoping that those white flecks will really read as blustery snowiness. That's a word, right? So I am proud to admit that we already have our Christmas tree up. Yeah, it went up in July. It just makes me so happy. My husband very graciously agreed to put it up, and I love him. Not just for that. Having those embeds as well as the soap shreds has really upped the size of these bars. So it's filling up my whole mold here, which is great. Everybody loves a big bar of soap all the way to the edges. Today it was about 92, 93 degrees Fahrenheit, and here I am making Christmas soap. But that's the best way to keep the Christmas spirit alive, celebrating all year. I want to get every single drop of goodness I can out of this. So now that this has had a chance to set up for a bit, I'm going to texture the top. And since the hill is slanted towards me, I thought I would slant the top of the soap in the opposite direction, just to add some fun balance there. Oh yeah, this is nice. I don't want it to be terribly symmetrical or for any rhyme or reason necessarily. Just thought it might be nice to kind of add a bit of something to the top. Okay, now that I've got that, I'm going to add just a little bit of soap glitter to the top. So rather than do the whole soap top, I thought I would concentrate on this edge here, just for something interesting. I have a feeling I need to do this with my right hand. This just adds to the magic of the whole scene. And let's put just a little bit of the Snowflake Sparkle Mica on the rest of the soap. There, that looks magical, don't you think? Do a little bit of cleaning. Alright, very nice. How about a closer look? When you get up close to the soap, you can really see all the sparkles in both the mica and the glitter. I'm anxious to see what these colors are going to look like tomorrow. Off for a warm winter's night's sleep for this soap. See you tomorrow. And here she is. Winter Wonderland soap is ready to cut. So I'll divide it into our 1-inch sections and then chop away. And here she is, a beautiful Winter Wonderland soap. I am thrilled. I love it so much. I think those soap shreds really do look like a blustery snowstorm. And then the trees are so cute. I think it kind of helps to force that perspective, having these two smaller. I wonder if making this last tree even smaller than the darker purple one would help create some more depth, but overall I am just thrilled with this soap. I am loving it. And I noticed that the ones on this side of the loaf, well, not that one, but some of them, the tree started to get a little bit crooked, but I am totally okay with that. I think that actually, it looks more curved. Yep, love it. Let's show you one more because I'm super proud of this one. Isn't that just so striking? Well, happy winter, everybody. It's like 90 degrees and thunderstorming where I am, but I've got all them winter vibes. Thanks so much for soaping with me today, and we'll see you next time.